just,
Awesome.
yeah, got another person coming in there.
Mhm.
But yeah, hey, kia ora. Hello, everyone. Welcome. It's really great to see you. And we're really excited today to hear what Sarina has to share with us. Yeah, I think I'll just kick off with a bit of an introduction. So, it's a real privilege to welcome you all to this presentation, which is part of this launch that we've been running here for Enneagram Australia and Aotearoa New Zealand, which is an international affiliate of the International Enneagram Association. So my name's Yvonne Letton, and I'm going to be your host today. And we're in the middle of our launch week now, which is actually pretty cool. It's been busy. It's been really busy. It's been going great, and we've been really excited by the engagement and the feedback that's been coming in from everyone. So that's been really positive, and it's I think it's really encouraging to see that we're really ready to like have this community in our part of the world, and I love that. So it's a pretty cool time. So today, whether you're new to the Enneagram or whether you've been pretty familiar with it, we really like to invite everybody to, I guess, share, just participate. Like it's really cool to hear your voices and your perspectives, and we just want to keep that conversation rolling. So we're going to have, well, Sarina's actually happy to engage with questions. She's going to have little breaks along the way, and we'll probably have some space for questions at the end as well. I'd also like to acknowledge our First Peoples, so the traditional custodians and tangata whenua of the lands that we're joining from across Australia and Aotearoa. And I pay my respects to the elders and the kaumātua of the past and present. So today I'm happy to introduce Sarina Sherring to explore Enneagram Type 6. Now, Sarina is an ICF certified life coach, an accredited IEQ 9 Enneagram practitioner, a spiritual director, and founder of Reflect the Original, an Enneagram coaching and soul care practice. So, with a background in education and over 20 years of experience across organizational and not for profit contexts, she equips individuals, leaders, and teams to grow in emotional health, self awareness, and values aligned living. Also, a respected voice in the International Enneagram podcasting community, Sarina co-hosted the 9 Design podcast, exploring the nuances of personality and growth, specifically within the Australian cultural context. Currently, Sarina is deepening her focus on the stages of faith, so exploring the natural movements and transition points in the spiritual journey, supporting individuals as they navigate these threshold moments, transforming seasons of uncertainty into vital opportunities for growth, positive change, and a more spacious way of being. So, without further delay, I'll hand it over to you, Sarina.
Thank you so much, Yvonne. It's always really uncomfortable in some ways being introduced by someone else. It's super lovely. But just hearing all those things read back to me is confronting but lovely. So I will receive. Thank you, Yvonne. So today we are talking about the wonderful Enneagram Type 6. And I'm unbiased completely, being that I am a Type 6 myself. So, but yeah, it is a type that is obviously close to my heart, but I'm very, very familiar with. So I would love to walk you through the Type 6 today together. So yeah, let's dive in. All right, make sure my thing is working. Yes. So a little note before we begin. This isn't going to be a 101 Type 6 session, and I've been informed that a lot of you know a lot about the Enneagram already, which is lovely. And so this will be a good kind of like 2.0 potentially for you guys. And we're not just going to be looking at behavior. So we're going to be focusing on the embodiment, awareness, presence and the deeper movements beneath the personality structure of the type 6. Yeah, let's begin. So we're just going to do a little bit of this embodiment together as we arrive, so we can open ourselves to what it's like to be a type 6 and to connect with some of the traits and styles that the type 6 embodies. So yeah, but just to invite you to take a slow breath. You can close your eyes if that feels comfortable for you. You can turn off your screen, however you want to relax and get comfortable. So take a slow breath, breathing in and out. Just invite you to notice your body. What's going on? Is your jaw clenched? Is your shoulders stiff and tight? Just unclench your jaw, soften your shoulders, relax your facial muscles. Notice your breath. Are you breathing short, shallow breaths? Are you holding your breath? Or are you comfortable in your breathing pace? Notice your internal pace. Is it fast or slow? Are there areas in your life that you're already anticipating, preparing for, or mentally rehearsing? Hold those thoughts. Hold that space of anticipation, preparation, and just mental rehearsing. Just hold that. Notice what that feels like. I invite you to come back into the room now and just to share briefly what helps you feel grounded when uncertainty rises. You can write that in the chat box, you can speak it out. Just love to hear some thoughts on that.
Sarina, Sean here.
Hi, Sean.
For me, it's stepping back, grounding, and breathing.
Yeah, that's good. I love breath work too. I think that's so helpful. What does grounding look like for you, if you don't mind me asking? Sean.
For me, it's about coming down from the head, connecting my head back to my body, right? Metaphorically, literally, and connecting the three centers. So it can come from whatever practice, but that's the grounding for me.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you. We have breathing, a few breathings in the chat. Tuning into the body. Movement. Pauline, reminding myself that nothing bad is happening right now. Great. Connecting to nature. Awesome. Naming what's happening inside. Naming. Yeah, really great. Steph. Naming and noticing. Really, really helpful. Thanks, guys. Anyone else want to share anything verbally before we move on? No? Okay. Thank you. I'm just going to invite you to look at this image, this little postcard. These were kind of trendy and current back in like the 70s or 80s, Enneagram space, but I absolutely love them. The graphics are a little bit dated now, but I use them all the time in my practice. This is the card for the Enneagram 6. And I just want you to take a moment to notice what's going on in this image. I want you just to speak out, or in the chat box, what are you feeling when you look at this image? What are you noticing? What draws your attention? It's hectic. Yeah, absolutely, Andre. It's very hectic. Lots going on. Chaotic. Yep. Risky. Why is it risky? Yeah, anxious. Puzzle, unstable, intriguing, lots of layers. Oh, everyone's going for it. I love this. Unstable.
Sarina, Sean again.
Yeah.
As a type 6, it's quite fascinating. But what actually drew my attention, and I do have these graphics as well. But
They're great.
The thing that just jumped out at me today is the A to B. Right? That they've got 3 there. I probably see about 1,000 ways to get from A to B.
Yes, that's very true. There's only 3 there, but there's multiple possibilities.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Lots of questioning. We have lots of question marks. Yeah. Disconnected. Disconnected from what, Pauline? If you could just elaborate on that for me.
Sorry, I was getting disconnected there, not finding my audio button. Am I
Oh, sorry.
all right now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Right. I was trying to find like where does each thing is individual and is saying something, you know, some kind of confusion, but I couldn't see any pattern between the different items and any in which there was sort of some resonance between them, except the fact that they were all confused, or as somebody said, questioning.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. So disparate kind of things going on without a connection point.
Yeah, almost like you're jumping from one thing to another and you're not connected to what you were just doing, but you're jumping into something else. It's like I've got too much to do and I don't know where to start.
Yes. Yeah. Yep. Lots going on in the mind and no kind of starting point.
Yeah. Something there that caught my eye straight away on Clem was that I saw the climbers, the 2 climbers, and I used to be a climber. And that's a way for me to, I'm a 6, and that's a way for me to conquer my fear. Yeah, that's a challenge my fear, I mean. It does look busy, but you can see the net. Well, it's got anchor points. You know, there is order, some sort of order there. But it is often busy. Yeah.
Thank you, Clem.
To me, it's like a maze also. Like, so you're going the maze and you hit an end and it's like, look, that's not right, and it's a blockage and it's not the right answer, and then it's another way.
Yeah.
Yep.
So find the next pathway out. If one way is blocked, find another path ahead.
Yeah. It's a questioning.
Yeah. Jean shared risk-taking despite uncertainty. Definitely. I loved Clem's example of when he rock climbs, that helps him to feel safe or feel grounded in that sense, like facing some of that fear. I think some good things were pointed out here. Courage, mind working in a bit of a maze, confusion, questioning, complexity, indeed. What are the colours? What do you notice about the colours of this image? Oh, you notice the black, Andre? Yep. Analogous, subdued, not vibrant, muted. Yep, indeed. So they're kind of calming, muted colors. There is black in there, but yeah, there's a calm by the color scheme. It's not a confronting. They're not confronting colors. They're not confronting colors. Anything else about this image? Yeah, I agree, Tracy. An image conveys so much more than me just telling you about the sex. I think. Yeah, not showy. Nice. I just want to draw your attention to the dice. What do you think that means? Taking a gamble. Relationship to risk, yeah. Chance, multifaceted, absolutely. Unpredictable. Life is unpredictable. Good points, guys. Yeah, good point, Robin. Lots going on, but there's some stable colors and geometric and stable lines going on as well in there. So there's some stability among that chaos. Weighing things up, taking a chance. So risk is there. Risk is always there in life. We can't avoid it. But it can feel like a bit of a throw of the dice for the six. So it doesn't always feel like a safe bet, but life is all about risk. Thank you, guys. Lots of good feedback. This is amazing. Sometimes I do these workshops and people are really hard to draw out, so it's really great. And halfway through the week, people are used to sharing. This is fantastic. Okay. I've got another image to show you, and it represents type 6. So, as you can tell, I love working with imagery. I feel like we learn a lot better about ourselves when we look at images. I'm a visual learner, so if you couldn't already tell. And now this image is one that I created myself. I created something called the Enneagram Archipelago, and it's a map of all the 9 types, and it shows the intelligence centers. It shows how the types are connected, and it was a whole lot of fun to do because I love reading fantasy novels. And in the front of fantasy novels, they have always a lovely map if you get a good fantasy novel. So I am using that as a teaching tool currently. But this one is my map of the 6. Hopefully you can see it. I enlarged it as much as I could with the words and everything around it. It is called Sanctuary, my type 6 island. And there are some things you can notice on there that weren't, I guess, present or were slightly different and nuanced from the other image that we saw before. So just looking at this map, what do you notice about the landscape and landmarks on this map? So similar to the image, what is standing out to you? What are you drawn to? What are you kind of repulsed by? What do you have questions about? The names of things as well have meaning. So just have a think, have a look. Feel free to ask questions, but just share what's standing out to you in this image. Landmarks are separated. Yeah. The labyrinth, totally. Similar to the maze on the last image. You know, we saw that maze background. You're drawn to the mountains, Claire. There's a mountain on each island, by the way. And yes, the mountains are of significance. What's with the ship? That's just a little fun, you know, little boat that's docking into Council Cove. There is the name Sanctuary. there is a beautiful song by Sleeping at Last. He wrote Enneagram songs, if you guys have heard of those. If not, type into YouTube or Spotify, Sleeping at Last, Enneagram songs, and you'll see. Do yourself a favor, they're beautiful. But he sings the sixth song, and he has a line which talks about being a sanctuary. And I just thought that was a beautiful, beautiful word and term for what this type 6 represents. Earthy colors, muted colors again. Yep. No, some parts are blurred. The blurring is kind of around my map because I wanted to try and focus on the type 6 only today. So hopefully it's not too blurry. Yeah, the type 6 song is beautiful. They're Sleeping at Last, Claire. And I'm sorry about the blur. I hope you can see some bits. So there is a maze of doubt. I'll point them out to you if you can't see them. There is Council Cove. There is a fountain of faith. There is a tree of divine courage. And there is a little circular garden called the Mirrors of Projection. So just have a think about that and what that might indicate to us about the type 6. Anyone there? No? Okay, we'll just hold those things in the background of your thinking as we move on, and feel free to jump in with anything that stands out to you as we progress. So the core desire, as you can tell, there's this sort of level of, safety, sanctuary. I want to feel secure or support a counsel cove. Like I really look for the counsel of others, and I feel the need for the reassurance. So it's part of the core desire to feel safe, secure, supported, and certain. Underneath this is a deeper longing for sixes. They want to trust themselves. They want to trust their inner knowing and feel internally anchored in an uncertain world. So they want to push against that uncertainty and find certainty. And the way they do that is often expressed through looking to others, looking for other things externally to feel supported and secure. This little quote I heard just yesterday, and I thought it was brilliant. When asked which a 6 trusts more, themselves or others, the 6 responded, "Ultimately, I trust my doubt." And I thought, wow, that really speaks to me. I think in the past, when I was a young 6, I would have said, I trust others more than I trust myself. And we'll talk about the relationship with authority that 6s have soon, but that's to do with that. And now I would say, oh, trust my doubt. Yeah, that feels more solid. That feels more solid. I don't know if that resonates with you guys. That resonates with you guys. But yeah. Yeah. So the fountain of faith sitting within the maze of doubt, indeed. That's interesting. Yep. I trust my doubt, indeed. Okay, and then it links to the core fear, being without guidance, support, certainty, or security. And type 6s often ask, what if, even if it's internally, subconsciously, that is kind of the thoughts and the feelings that are going on beneath the surface as we look at the world. What if this happens? And it's not always bad. It's not always bad. So the deeper loss within the fear, beneath the fear of the 6. The 6 is not simply struggling with fear or angst, as Russ Hudson shared beautifully on Saturday's session. I just love that. He talked about angst being this kind of, dread that's kind of underneath everything. And, you can't explain it. It's just there, this sense of dread. More than he likes to use the word fear, but I tend to agree that that word angst is lovely. So I've just added it there. Beneath the vigilance is often a deeper disconnection from their own sense of inner guidance. Their embodied knowing, the trust in themselves, their trust in life and support itself. We have things in us that we can trust. The work for sixes is strengthening the core self. That's a lot of work that I do with people who are type 6, who identify mostly with type 6. We work on strengthening their core self, because all that we need is within us. It's just so hard for us to access that and to trust that, trust being the big thing. But because of this, our minds begin searching outside ourselves for certainty by doing things to make it feel better, like preparing, anticipating, questioning, scanning, and rehearsing. So I don't know if other sixes in the room feel this, but preparation, oh my goodness, must be done. Like, you just put your thumbs up if you if you agree with me. Preparation is king, like for sixes. That feels like we are doing everything we can do to make ourselves feel safe, supported, secure. Yes, be prepared. That's the scout thing, isn't it, Sean? I think that's the thing. Yes to all. So yes, all those things. That makes us feel safe. We feel like we've done our job if we can do these things: preparing, anticipating, scanning, rehearsing. And it's a real skill for sixes to push against that and to come unprepared to things. It's really challenging. This is not because we lack courage, but because we are trying to regain a sense of orientation and safety. We are doing everything we can do to feel safe and secure, creating our insecurity through those things. The deeper invitation is not becoming fearless. Fear will always be there, but it's rediscovering I can remain present, supported, and connected even amidst uncertainty. The protective pattern of type 6 often says, if I can prepare enough, then I'll be safe, or then everything will go well. If I stay alert, then nothing bad will happen. Fill in the blank. If I can foresee every possibility, then we'll have a great time. Then maybe I'll finally be safe. These patterns were formed for a reason, not to hurt us, but to protect us. Like all the patterns of all the 9 Enneagram types, they are a protective measure, a protective strategy, pattern, whatever you want to call it, but a mechanism to keep us safe. And it's done a pretty good job. So I always tell my clients we don't want to take the fear or whatever, the protective pattern out of the car. Like I use this analogy of if we're driving a car and, fear is in the car with me, we just don't want the fear. We don't want to open the door and kick fear out the door, because fear helps us. It is a survival strategy for everybody, not just sixes. We just don't want it driving the car. So we want to put it in the rightful place, its rightful place. So yeah, that's helpful for me anyway, and my clients. Projection is a word that, if you're familiar with the Enneagram and the 6, you would have heard as a defense mechanism. It emerges here. And projection's a funny one. It can be really perfectly hidden from us, like most of our defense mechanisms can be. And it's the thought or the thing, that the fear over something that becomes so convincing that it feels unquestionably external. This is real. This is happening, and you can't tell me otherwise. The mind begins projecting our uncertainty onto people, systems, relationships, or future possibilities. And what is anticipated as dangerous can start to feel completely real in the body. So yes, that is what projection is. It helps us to externalize our fear outside of ourselves, so we don't have to feel it. If we project it onto a situation, a person, a system, an authority figure, then we don't have to feel the fear. It's outside of us. And lastly, sixes often hold a complex relationship with authority, looking for trustworthy guidance while simultaneously questioning, testing, and doubting it. Authority is interesting. Does anyone have any? I just wanted to open it up just for a minute or two here on these two things, projection and authority. Does anyone have any little stories or insights they'd like to share on these two parts of the type 6 structure?
It's Clem here again. For me, I find that it's so much better when I can know I can trust an authority. Then doubt doesn't come in.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the biggest thing for authority for me. But if the authority isn't trustworthy, then things go a bit wrong for me. You know, I get
totally.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, Clem. Very true.
Thank you.
And
Andre.
Sarina, I think,
sorry.
I think for me around authority, that's where my skepticism is there. I can give you trust, but there'll always be skepticism.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Sean, for bringing up skepticism. That's a big quality in Sixes. We are very skeptical. And authority figures do tend to trigger the skepticism radar that we have. And it can feel, as Clem shared, beautiful to trust an authority figure. It can feel so safe and reassuring. But at the same time, if that trust is lost, broken, betrayed, whatever, then yeah, that the authority figure feels very unsafe to us. Yeah, Andre.
Oh, thanks, Sarina. I think when working with clients or when we're teaching a part 1 introduction, we'll have a new person figuring out their type, and when they keep wanting us to tell them who they are, sometimes over and over again, sometimes for 3 days, and then they almost do a survey of the room to get everybody's opinions. If we hand out a questionnaire on day 1 and they come back on day 2, they'll have done it to all their friends, got them to do the survey about them, to bring back the committee. Yes. I mean, it's like telling us without telling us that we just, and that frustration when we don't tell them who they are as they wrestle with it because they're looking for certainty.
Yes.
It's excruciating sometimes to watch that agony of, and then they're getting annoyed because we're not directing it for them.
Yes. Good point. Thank you, Andre. That's very, very true and super challenging. Sixes experiencing the Enneagram, the sixes in the room, I'm sure, would maybe concur in their journey that they've experienced a little bit of that. I experienced a smidge of that when I was learning about the Enneagram close to 10 years ago. I mistyped twice because I was so unsure of what I was, and I was looking for the reassurance and the certainty. And so, but I had to just deep dive myself, which I ended up doing and became slightly obsessed, hence why I'm doing what I'm doing today. But yes, it is something that we can struggle to accept. So thank you, Andre. That was awesome.
And to add to Andre's comment, the process of elimination that we go through.
Yeah, say more about that. Yeah.
We're going around all the types and going, no, not me, not me, not me, not me, not me, not me. It must be 6.
I find that 9s are kind of similar in that sense, or they see themselves in all 9 types. So it's hard for them to land as well because but I see that and I see this and Pauline, I often find that 6s in a workshop won't admit to a type. They find it confronting. It takes a lot of reassurance reminding them of the high qualities of the 6, not overtly, of course, for them to finally land. Yeah, that's true. I think 6s are really averse to the stereotypes, the reductionistic teaching that can be out there. And we feel like all that they're focusing on is the fear and anxiety. And for 6s, it's often very hidden, the fear and anxiety. So I didn't identify with that at all. When I first learned about the 6, I was like, I'm not an anxious person. And it wasn't until I heard someone teaching it from a different perspective that said, well, 6s live with this sort of undercurrent of anxiety all the time. And you know, it's just their normal operating system. And so there are things that can trigger it, but it's how we've always lived. It's always there. It's in the background. So we don't feel like anxious people because we were just born that way. So yeah, so that can also be hard for sixes, to be boxed into this, you're the anxious, fearful person. If they're really disconnected from the anxiety and fear, that's really hard. Okay, moving on. Thank you for that. That was great. Thank you, guys. How a type 6 experiences the world within themselves and the people around them. Anticipating possibilities, as we've said. So best case and worst case, I like to say, because we can see the ways that things can go well and right as well, which is why we're sort of we try and steer things towards the best, because we can see the worst, but we can also see the best. So anticipating possibilities. And the consequences of things. You know, I've been reflecting on that lately too, that we often will see the consequences of a certain action or behavior or decision that we make. And so we're anticipating those possibilities, and we want to avoid anything that could be negative in those realms. So that's another way we anticipate possibilities. I had a 6 say to me recently, I feel like I see all the consequences of other people's actions, and they don't see for themselves. So interesting. Scanning for danger. There is a concept of phobic and counterphobic. Just very quickly, phobic is if we're moving away as a 6, we move away from the things that we're afraid of, and we're more cautious, we're more risk averse, and we'll steer our lives away from risky endeavors. And the more counterphobic is we'll move towards the things that scare us in order to feel safe and secure. So to conquer the fear, in a sense. So 6s can look both ways, which can be tricky. Counterphobic 6s can be mistyped as 8s if we're just looking at their behavior, because they can run towards their fears and seem very assertive in those ways, you know, and risk-oriented. Interesting. We like to troubleshoot problems. Some people mentioned before that they love puzzles. I love puzzles as well. We love to solve problems, solve puzzles, fix problems. I love watching murder mysteries because, you know, you like to kind of, I want to solve something. I want to find out who the killer is. So yeah. Questioning and discerning. So obviously we said that before, 6s are questioners. We have lots of questions, and we like to discern what's true and what's not. So sorting the truth out from the lies, or what appears to be lies, or, you know, the safe things from the unsafe things. And what else do we have? Seeking reassurance and certainty. We've talked about that. Reassurance for all the 6s in the room feels like a soft, warm, beautiful hug. Can I get an amen? Like, I love reassurance. I feel like it's the best thing ever when people reassure me. And I've got to detach myself from the desire for reassurance, but reassurance and certainty feel very nice. They're fiercely loyal and committed people. We know that about ourselves. We have a big loyalty radar. If things feel disloyal, if people around us, I have a daughter who is, she hasn't fully landed her type. She's nearly 17. She's sort of in the 7-8 realm at the moment. And we're holding those 2 types for her. And she does not have the sense of loyalty. She, you know, she can ditch friends and break up with boyfriends and things like that and have no sense of loyalty. I am sitting there freaking out on her behalf, going, no, you can't treat that person like that. You have to do it nicely. You have to do it over the phone. You can't just do it over a text. You can't break up with someone over a text. You need to, like, you know. So we have a big loyalty, a sense of loyalty and a value for loyalty. We have a deep sense of responsibility and care for both people and the roles we carry. So I feel very responsible in the tasks that are entrusted to me. I feel like I need to, I go the extra mile for the things that are mine to do. I want to be a dependable, reliable, responsible person. And I feel that deep in my bones. So these are some good qualities for the 6 that we have. We are perceptive. We pay close attention to others. We are good listeners and with a great memory. That can be a good thing and a bad thing sometimes. But if people say they're going to do something and they don't follow through with it, then we remember that they said they were going to do it. And then that sparks our seeking certainty. Can I trust this person? That can spark a whole lot of things, the good memory. Yes, and Sean, good point. Loyalty can also keep 6s stuck in situations from which they need to move on from. Absolutely. Bad relationships, bad bosses, bad work environments, toxic friendships, because we just we hate the goodbyes. Like I don't want to let someone go. The worst thing for me, one of the worst things, that's an overstatement. One of the worst things for me is ghosting. So if you've been ghosted and you're a 6, that is really hard because there's no answer whatsoever. There's no closure. There's no explanation. We have questions. We want to know. I would rather someone tell me, this is why I'm not friends with you anymore, and then we're not friends, than just ghost me. That's really hard going for a 6. I met someone, I was doing my spiritual direction training studies, and a lady told me she had done her, she told me she was a 6, and she told me she did her PhD on ghosting. So that's really interesting, isn't it? I thought, oh, yeah, I see that as a 6. That makes complete sense. I get it. Like, we want to know why, what is about ghosting. We want to look underneath. We want to discern, why do people do this? Sorry, passionate about ghosting. Courage in the face of uncertainty, absolutely. We can move towards things that we are afraid of, but we can do it because we have courage, even though we are afraid. They're the most courageous. I'll talk about this a bit later, but 6 is the most courageous personality style because we have so much fear and we move through it to engage in life and to do things that we feel like we're meant to do, and to love the people around us well. We have an awareness and an awakeness, which brings clarity and insight. So 6s are very aware and awake people. We see things, we discern things, all the things I mentioned before. So without me prattling on much longer, do you identify with any of these qualities in your own life? You can put your thumbs up, you can hand up, you can type which ones really stand out for you. Up to you. Thanks, Clem. Saying and doing must be aligned, Naomi. Absolutely. That's very important. Yeah, courage in the face of uncertainty. Yes.
Sarina, just on the phobic, counterphobic, as I was coming to learn the Enneagram, one of the reasons I couldn't connect with the 6 was a lot of the literature was phobic.
Yes.
Central. It was all about the fear and the retreat and the withdrawal and stuff like that, and that just didn't resonate with me. Then I learned about the counterphobics. Oh, that's a bit more, got a little bit more of that in me.
Yes.
And so that was one of the challenges that I had, and probably one of the confusing things about the 6s is that phobic counterphobic thing is shows up as such an opposite style of person, styles of behavior, right?
Yes.
And being in workshops or environments in discussing the Enneagram where there's a phobic 6, like seeing that and connecting with them and getting where it's coming from was powerful, but not relating to the phobic behavior.
Yes.
Was something that really stood out for me.
That makes sense. Yeah. It's a good point and that can lead to a lot of mistyping as well. Yeah. So Time is flying. So head, heart, and body. We like to we want to integrate the head, heart, and body. We know the intelligence centers of the Enneagram, super, super helpful tool. This is just sharing how the sixes have expressed through the head, heart, and body. Head, and we've covered a lot of these things, so I'm just going to fly through this list. But perceptive, discerning, insightful, and able to think through complexity and potential outcomes with wisdom and care. Forecasting, analysing, troubleshooting. Think their way out of uncertainty, creating a feeling, thinking loop. Now, we want to think our way out. So I'm just making that very clear. We often can't think our way out. But our desire and our belief is strongly that we can think our way out of anything. So that is very, very strong in the six. And it's a hard pattern to break or to loosen. Anything can be solved if I can just think about it for 3 days solid. You know, that's honestly the way I think about that with what I believe. So that's a hard pattern to loosen. The feeling thinking loop. Often sixes, we're in the head triad, so we think, oh, we have a thinking feeling loop, or but often it's the feelings that kind of get processed first, or not even processed, felt, but we immediately go to the brain to make sense of that. So if we're sad, it's like this: I'm sad, and then I'm going to think about that forever. Why am I sad, and pull it apart and dissect every part of that. So that can keep us stuck in the loop without acting on those thoughts or those feelings. Yes, yeah, recognizing that we have to go beyond thinking to find the answer is helpful. Yeah, definitely. So the head is very, very strong, as we know, for sixes. Heart, we're deeply loyal, committed, protective, compassionate. Once a six lets someone in, that loyalty often runs incredibly deep. It's very true. Deep desire for reassurance, trust, belonging, dependable connection. Often highly sensitive to rejection, blame, injustice, or relational instability. Absolutely. Those things do not feel nice for us at all. In our body, we are resilient, often resilient because of the courage piece. We're enduring, practical, and capable of showing up courageously whilst afraid. Can become disconnected from our gut instinct or embodied knowing. The body can feel harder to access than the mind or emotions. Fear is not only mental, it becomes embodied. So it stops us from acting, stops us from moving, stops us from engaging our body center. And trusting our gut is really, really hard, because we trust in our mental ability and logic so much. So moving out of that space, the path towards presence. The deeper invitation is toward the virtues of faith and courage. Faith, not blind certainty. It is learning to trust our inner knowing, grounded presence, and lived experience. I am connected, held, and a part of something greater. Courage, not the absence of fear. It is the willingness to step through fear because something deeper feels trustworthy. So if you want to dig deeper into that space, especially that faith space, I recommend Russ Hudson's work on, and Don Riso, their work on divine essence and holy idea. So looking into that for the six has been really beneficial for me. Movement towards health often looks like, for a six, less reactivity. We can be very reactive when things go wrong. And when we start to become less reactive, we know that we're growing to things that we might react to previously. Less outsourcing of authority. We're trusting ourselves more to make those decisions and not leaning on authority figures around us. More embodied self-trust. So acting on the things that that gut instinct is maybe telling us, and our intuition, actually practicing tapping into that and moving into action from what we're feeling our gut is telling us. And trusting our own experience and inner knowing. So often self-talk, I did it before this session. You know, I will say to myself, I know this stuff. I know what I'm talking about. And I can trust that. You know, I didn't mean I didn't get nervous before coming on here, or I wasn't feeling a bit of fear, but I did self-talk to myself and say, I know this stuff. I have the inner knowing of the Enneagram stuff, especially type 6. I know this stuff. And I can trust that. It will be there for me when I need it. Just quickly, just a little reflection question. You can feel free to answer either of those questions, but what kind of presence do you think 6 is ultimately longing for? And what supports might help cultivate that presence?
I'll go. What supports me cultivate the presence is just to actually self-talk and say I have the answers, not like to expansion of going out and out and out and grabbing from this and grabbing from that. It's more internal. It's just quieting my mind, connecting to myself, and just connecting to the body parts and realizing I'm in my head, but trying to drop down into something more, and yes, and then the answers come. You know, like just and basically calm down, settle. It's not a spiral and the anxiety because it's building. It's almost shaking in me. You know, so just to breathe and connect to self. Yeah.
Thanks, Nikki. It's great. Really, really good.
Sarina, for me, it's just a longing to be at peace.
Yeah.
And for me, that's been cultivated with recognizing that the universe is the universe and it's all good and it'll all work out.
Yeah.
And that comes back to peace.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for attuned, authentic presence. Thank you, Tracy. More ease with self, Trish. Nice. I like what you said about self-talk. It will be there for me when I need it. You can see me saying to a 6, what you need will be there for you when you need it. Totally say that to the 6s you love. It's hard to accept, but it's very, very true. Yeah. Lisa.
Yeah, that's thanks, Sarina. I really like what you said there. That was my comment. I find because I'm married to a 6 and he's beautiful. You can really see his whole self kind of expand and even melt a little bit with real words of encouragement. Like it's quite lovely. It's quite a nice superpower to have to someone who loves a 6. The encouragement really works, even if it's little, even if it's a reaching out. Maybe it doesn't work for all 6, it does for mine, but just reaching out and touching him, or now you've got this, or when it's honest. But you can just so lovely to see it on his, like it really physically changes his being.
Yeah, it's beautiful, Lisa. Thank you. Yeah, feeling that sense of unwavering support, or kind of like people are in our corner, people have our back. That feels really good. That feels really good.
Another one for me was I used to say a lot to my husband, you don't support me, I need the support. And now that I'm older and I've looked at a few things, it's more like supporting myself as well, instead of another thing of, the internal.
Yeah. Totally. Yes. So slowly, incrementally building support of self while still enjoying the support from others, but I guess not relying on it. It's good. Pauline, my son is a 6. I think he's looking for structures and people that he can trust. I think what helps him is maintaining a calm presence and responding to what is bothering him, not me. He's in New Zealand, we're in Tassie. Yeah, it's tricky, but I like that, Pauline. I like a calm presence. Really, really beautiful. Yeah, it's really helpful. Okay, thank you, everyone. Some good reflections there. So we're just going to chat through some practices that might be helpful. So just some practical things. I like to always leave people with some practical handles on things that you can take away with you to try out. So practices to help us with awareness and this grounded presence. Different personalities require different invitations to growth. So practices can help all 9 Enneagram types interrupt automatic patterns, cultivate awareness, regulate the nervous system, and create space for presence. So they're actually really, really helpful to integrate into our lives as much as we can. The practices that support 6s are not about removing fear. As I said before, we don't want to kick it out of the car, but cultivating enough groundedness and trust that fear no longer has to lead. When 6s lose connection to safety within themselves, it can become difficult to receive the support, reassurance, and steadiness already being offered around them. So for those of you in relationship with a 6 who may not identify with 6 themselves, those people might be sitting there going, yes, I feel like sometimes if my 6 person I love is really spun up and really struggling, I feel like they don't see the support I am offering them. And that's very true. And that's just indicating that they're in a place of struggle and maybe a little bit less on the health levels, that Russ Hudson and Rizzo talk about, the levels of health. So they may be at more of an average level of health that day or that moment, struggling with things. So some downstream practices. Now, downstream just means that they are natural, grounding, energizing, they're easy to access. So like a river flows, if we're swimming in a river and there's a current, if we're going downstream with the current, it's really easy for us, right? We can just float really down the river. But if we're going upstream and we're going against the current, we have to work really hard to swim against that current and to keep afloat. So that's what I mean when I say downstream or upstream practices. The upstream practices will feel challenging, but actually our pathway for growth helps us move through them. It helps us to move towards growth more quickly if we engage regularly with the upstream practices, if that makes sense. So the downstream ones will feel natural to us. And I recommend people having a measure of these in their life all the time if you're a 6. So singing, music. So you may not feel like you're a singer. I definitely don't feel like I am, but I love singing to music. So like if music is playing and I know the song, I will often sing along with it. I love singing in the car with my kids. I was part of church circles for a long time and we would do singing in church and I really enjoyed that. It can help us to identify our feelings. It can also create a sense of belonging because we're alongside others, singing out truth or singing out things we believe in, if it's words that you actually really identify with. Even listening to music can help soothe. Like I love classical music and jazz, and I just often have that playing in the background. It helps with calm, the tranquil kind of atmosphere of my home, and that helps me to calm the anxiety and the stuff that's going on within. Shared prayer or ritual, so alongside others again. So if it's praying with others or meditating or doing some kind of ritual together, whatever that looks like, it can help you to feel grounded and can feel natural. Journaling fears and reflections, that helps us to get them out of our heads, and instead of projecting them onto others, we put them onto paper. So that's really helpful for us as well and helps us process what's going on and to get them out. And often I look at stuff that I've written down and I go, oh, that's really unrealistic. Like that's not real. So it's helpful to get it out there on the paper because I can see it in black and white and I can go, oh, okay, that's crazy. And then I can turn the page and let it go. So journaling helps with our fears. Community, dependable connection. I think that's self-explanatory, but that can be found wherever you naturally find that. You enjoy going to the gym, you enjoy playing mahjong. Some of my clients enjoy that. Enjoy going for walks with people, enjoy playing, what's that, pickleball. There's whatever you enjoy doing alongside others, that can be really helpful and grounding. Walks, going to the gym, baths, massages. These are just some things I do. I just pop them down there. But I know a lot of other sixes who enjoy baths and massages. They can, along with nines, that's often something we have in common, but it can help us get into our body. My body often feels very disconnected and I have to consciously tune in. So a massage really engages my body with my mind. I'm like, oh, this feels amazing. And I'm feeling my body for the first time. Family and friend dinners, I really like having people over for dinner. It just makes me feel connected, engaged. It's natural for me. I have a lot of fun. I can laugh. A sense of belonging. Verbal processing with trusted people. This is huge, and that is a consistent six thing. And it's really important that sixes verbally process, if you can, with trusted people. It helps sort out our feelings like the journaling does, and it helps us to articulate and figure out what we actually believe to be true. Often I'll just emotionally flood. We won't get into that now, but I can talk and verbal diarrhea for like an hour to my husband. But in that hour, I might pick out, 5 points that are actually, that's how I'm feeling. This is true. It's helped me sort out my emotions and stops that thinking, feeling loop. If I can get it out, say it, stops the crazy sometimes. So nice advice, Sean. When a six says, I'm thinking about, please listen. Absolutely. I shared recently to someone that I really don't like being interrupted. I don't know if that's a six thing or if that's just a me thing, but I don't like when people interrupt me. I don't know. Anyway, but I love when people listen deeply to me. So thanks, Sean. The upstream practices, so the ones that are a little bit more challenging for us, which are stretching, refining, but more transformative because they're sort of going against the current. So engaging in silence. So there's a posture to silence. I like silence, but I don't like sitting there and engaging with it being stuck in my head. So I like when the house is quiet and I can bang away on my computer and do the work that I need to do, but that's not engaging with the silence. So stopping, like lying down or sitting, however you feel comfortable, and actually engaging with the silence and letting my mind quiet. Tough, really tough, but really good, really beneficial. Staying present without solving. So not wanting to kind of fix things or find the troubleshoot the problem. Just staying present. That's really hard. Slowing reactivity. So instead of reacting, I find this really hard because we're in the reactive stance, sixes. So when something annoys us, frustrates us, something we struggle with, we often will react. And not reacting. So if my children tell me something and I'm like, or like that they've done wrong, and I'm practicing not reacting, I'm like, okay, so do you think that was a good idea? So rather than going, I don't believe you did that, you're so grounded, you're so in trouble, actually just listen, don't react. So there's some self-talk going on there. It's important with the self-talk to have it so you understand the why. Telling myself, don't react, that's not going to get me anywhere. Sixes need to understand the why. Understanding is really important for us. So to self-talk with the why. If I react right now to what my daughter's saying to me, then she's going to blow up at me and we're going to have this conflict and it's going to be an hour of hell for me, really. So do I want to engage in that, or can I just let it go, breathe, walk away, process what I'm going to do, and then deal with it later when I'm calm? So understanding the why, self-talk works better for sixes when we understand the why. Breath and body grounding. So I think Sean talked about that before, going out in nature, breathing, deep breathing practices, breath work, anything in that space is helpful for sixes. It may not be easy, but it's really helpful. Often I find I'm holding my breath without realizing it. So deep breathing helps, and tuning into the way I'm breathing. Contemplative prayer can help. So that's just slowing down, and silence, solitude. So it's a fancy word for talking about that. Practicing trusting gut instincts. So when a situation comes up and you need to make a decision, rather than running around to all the things, as Andre mentioned before, I need to seek the advice from 20 people before I make a decision. Take a moment to tune in. What is my gut telling me? Just a moment, and see if you can trust it enough to act on it without asking anyone for their advice. That's hard. I get that. But that's what I'm talking about here. Taking small, faithful risks without over-preparing. This is also a tough one, but if you have something that you would normally prepare 2 days in advance for, try preparing 1 day in advance for. Try preparing for on the day of. Try and just take away maybe 10%, or 5% of the preparation you would do, just slow incremental, pulling back of the preparation and just slowly over time. As we said, we don't want to make dramatic changes, just slow incremental changes over time. Sorry, I know I'm flying through these, but yeah. So feel free to answer any of these questions. Which upstream or downstream practice stood out to you most, and why? Can you think of one additional downstream practice or upstream that may support a six's growth that you've tried and has worked for you or someone you know? What kind of presence or groundedness do these practices seem to cultivate? Pick one of those. Feel free to answer.
Sarina, the one I just put in the chat there is a reflective practice to connect with your authority. That you are capable,
that
you are able, that you don't have to keep questioning your ability, your confidence, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And I found that comes through reflective practice, like replaying the things that you've done and you've done well, and being more objective about either doing it with a coach or somebody else, but you do it yourself and say, be more objective. No, I did okay there. That was okay. I managed that. I am. Yeah. So that's another thing.
Good point, Sean. I think that brings back to success amnesia. For sixes, we forget the good things we've done. And so reminding, that's a really good one. I'm going to write that down to put on my list. Reminding ourselves of when we've done things well. That is not natural. But that's very, very, very helpful. Yeah. Thanks, Lisa. No worries. You have a good day. Anyone else? Okay, well, we're nearly at the end. Closing thoughts. The invitation for type 6 is not to become less thoughtful, discerning, or prepared. Their questioning, caution, and awareness are rooted in a deep care for what is good, safe, and trustworthy. Growth is not about becoming passive or endlessly calm, but becoming more available to life itself, able to act, love, discern, and take the next faithful step without fear needing to lead. Healthy sixes often become some of the most courageous, trustworthy, grounded, and quietly steady people in the spaces they inhabit. And I just want to read as a last thing, and I don't know if we have time for any questions at the end, but I'll ask Yvonne. But I just want to read this little poem by Wendell Berry. and it's called I Go Among Trees. So I just want to leave you with this, and it just reminds me about fear, and it reminds me about sixes, but it's so beautiful. So just allow me to read this to you. I go among trees. I go among trees and sit still. All my stirring becomes quiet. Around me like circles on water. My tasks lie in their places, where I left them, asleep like cattle. Then what is afraid of me comes and lives a while in my sight. What it fears in me leaves me, and the fear of me leaves it. It sings, and I hear its song. Then what I am afraid of comes. I live for a while in its sight. What I fear in it leaves it, and the fear of it leaves me. It sings, and I hear its song. After days of labour, mute in my consternations, I hear my song at last, and I sing it. As we sing, the day turns, the trees move. Thank you, guys. It's been lovely to connect with you. I know we went a little bit over time, but thank you for being here and being with me. It's been great to be with you. So yeah, just over to Yvonne. I don't know if we have time for questions or whatever, but yeah.
Well, yeah, look, first I want to say thank you, Sarina. That was fantastic, so informative and obviously very interactive, right? I think everybody's taken away lots of valuable stuff there. So can we all send some love to Sarina as a bit of a thank you?
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, that was really cool. Now, in terms of yeah, I think what I might do is, if it's okay, Sarina, we'll just give a couple of notices.
Sure.
We'll just kind of wrap it up, and then maybe if you want to stay by after that for 5 minutes, and people do have questions, they could stick around. That gives people an opportunity to go if they have to.
Sure.
Yeah, once again, I'd just like to thank everyone for being here and participating. That's really cool, because a really big part of this festival is hearing from our community as well, and hearing what people would like to do moving forward. This is just the beginning, but I think the future is looking pretty bright. So I want to mention what's coming up this afternoon and this evening. We've got Exploring Type 7. I think that's on at 7:30 Australian time, 9:30 in New Zealand. And that's with Margaret Loftus. And we've got Rachel King doing Type 3 tomorrow, and that's in the morning. So there's still plenty in the lineup. There's lots on offer. It's pretty cool. So please do come along to those if you can make it. And I think, once again, thank you, Sarina. And we might,
thanks, everyone.
We'll just allow everyone to stick around if they want, or you please feel free, everyone, if you've got things that you need to get to, and we'll stop the recording shortly. All right, thank you.
Thanks, everyone. I'm just trying to love heart your messages, your kind messages. I didn't get to it. I'm